There's Avenged Sevenfold at Nightmare on the Rock Station, TK101, of course, the headliner tonight here at the Pensacola Civic Center, broadcasting live here on the 5 o'clock Work Release program where we've snuck out of the heat. We are backstage. Tell you what, the doors are going to be opening here at about 6 o'clock and not a moment too soon. People are sweating. It is a hot one out there today. But like I said, we did sneak our way backstage, and we're here with Neil and Brad from 3 Days Grace. And guys, welcome to town, first of all. It's been, I want to say, about a year and a half since we've last seen you. But you guys are regulars down here, and it's nice to have you back.
Oh yeah, we're glad to be here, man. Always makes for a great rock show down here. We're stoked.
And hearing that this place is just about going to be at capacity this evening. So, 3 Days Grace, Avenged Sevenfold, Hot Ticket. Yeah, kind of a different lineup for you guys, though, with a band as heavy as Avenged Sevenfold. Is it kind of a clash of audiences there?
No, I don't think so, man. We thought the same thing when we first started, but it's pretty much the same kind of fan base. It's been great shows, and the whole crowd's singing along with our set, and Avenged are great guys, and we get along really well with those guys. So.
We're with Brad. We're with Neil from 3 Days Grace backstage, Pensacola Civic Center, live on the 5 o'clock Work Release program. 3 Days Grace is a band that has literally dominated rock radio to one degree or another for 8 straight years now. But a lot of people don't realize that this band has been, with the exception of Barry joining in 2003, together, first under the name Groundswell, since 1992. Even some of the biggest bands out there have shifts in their lineup from time to time. And what do you attribute 3 Days Grace's longevity? I mean, you guys can't get along all the time. Who wants to take this question?
Well, I think you had that was about 3 questions, I think. Yeah, we basically started, on second day of grade 9. As soon as we basically got out of public school, I knew I wanted to be in a band. That was my ticket to cool, So met Adam in September of grade 9, and was like, hey, let's start a band. I happened to live like 30 seconds from the school, so we were able to like not go to school very much and jam as much as we could. So that's how that started. That's why it's been a long time, but some of that first music, I prefer if it just stays underground. I think the biggest thing is that we realized early on that there's no shortcut, to success. I think, as far as touring, that's why we tour so much, because coming back and showing people that we're a real band. We don't deal with like bells and whistles and fakeness and anything like that. We're genuinely a real band that can pick up our instruments and play them, and we learned that that's what people really want. People want to see that you're real and not contrived in a world where there's so much contrived stuff. So that's a big part of it. The other thing is, like, within the band, we learn how to pick our battles and not like react to every situation. You see the best and the worst of everybody when you're living on a bus with a bunch of guys. So it's like it's how you react to a situation which can sustain you. Or if you want to kill each other all the time, then you're not going to be a band for that long.
Neil and Brad from 3 Days Grace are here with us. They're playing tonight with Avenged Sevenfold, Bullet for My Valentine, Pensacola Civic Center, TK Work Release. By any measure, the band's chart success is amazing. And yet, outside of maybe your Canadian accent, you guys could sit next to someone at a McDonald's, and I doubt that they would realize that they were, sitting next to some of the biggest hit makers on the radio here over the past decade. You guys don't really do a lot of stuff that's going to get you on TMZ, so, it's almost as if you're kind of the anti-pop star in a lot of ways. Do you attribute that to rock fans being more about the music than about, pop stardom and all that goes along with that?
Well, I think it starts with, like, we want to stay out of jail as much as possible. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not a big fan of incarceration in a foreign country. So that keeps us kind of on the straight and narrow. But yeah, I mean, hey, we don't buy into the whole hype of like trying to act like you're something that you're not. And there's so many bands we see doing that think that their time is more important than others, or think that they have to try really hard to act a certain way. And like, that's just lame. That stuff comes full circle. And I think, like I was saying before, especially in 2011, you flip on TV, it's like, people are getting fooled into thinking things are real that aren't. And it's the same with the music industry, any entertainment, same with news. People are getting fooled into thinking reality is reality, and it's not reality. And so if we can just, be real and true to ourselves and write about real things, 3 Days Grace fans know that, and that they relate, because we're writing about our lives and the lives of people around us. We all live, the same life really at the end. So that's kind of why I think a lot of people are attracted to our music, because it's genuine.
3 Days Grace opening up for Avenged Sevenfold along with Bullet for My Valentine tonight at the Pensacola Civic Center. We're backstage with Neil and Brad here on TK Work Release. And I was driving to work today, punching buttons on the radio, and came across an old Eagles song. It was like The Long Run or something. And I kind of cranked it up there for a second. So I just wanted to ask you guys what a couple of maybe guilty pleasure songs that you guys have that if they come on the radio, or songs that you might turn up, but roll your windows up so no one catches you listening to them. Any Donna Summer songs or anything like that?
Yeah, I don't know, man. My wife listens to a lot of pop radio, so I always catch myself singing Katy Perry or like NSYNC or something, once in a while.
Really?
Yeah, like
We're
it'll
gonna have
just
to
come
have
on. Well, we got the.
There's no we. Oh, you mean you? Oh,
So that's yeah. I always try to keep my windows up for those ones.
I don't know. I do listen to a lot of electronic, like in house and like dubstep DJ type of stuff. I mean, it's not really guilty pleasure. I really like it, but some of the stuff gets a little bit airy and like glow sticky. But I like that kind of stuff. I think it's really cool and innovative. And I mean, hey, if you can make people dance and you're doing something right, I think that's a cool thing to be able to do, whatever you're doing.
We're with Neil and Brad from 3 Days Grace. Hang on for a chance to win tickets to their show tonight here at the Pensacola Civic Center. We're going to crank up some 3 Days Grace here in just a second as well. So summer plans. You guys have done some big fests. You were in North Carolina for their big one the other day. You're out with Avenged Sevenfold right now. What does summer hold for you guys? And since Life Starts Now has been out about a year and a half now, do you guys have any idea what's going to be next for you guys as far as music goes?
Yeah, we're always working on stuff, man. We're really excited about what we've got going. We're kind of ahead of the game. We generally take our time making records, but this time we've just been slamming it out on the road. We got a little studio in the back of the bus and stuff, and so we're definitely further ahead, sort of, if you look at the timeline of when we put out records than before. So next record, will be happening. It's probably almost halfway written, which is pretty exciting for us. It's definitely heavy, and but we're just you know as far as the radio these days, it just seems like it's some of the stuff, it just gets really mundane, that we're really like deciding to just really rethink what we consider heavy. Heavy to us doesn't necessarily mean layer upon layer upon layer of guitar and like big safe courses and stuff like that. And so we're kind of figuring out it for ourselves, but we're definitely taking leaps in directions just because we're like, what the hell, why not, And I think the end result is going to be pretty fresh.
You mentioned that you have a studio in the back of the bus. Is this more of a rehearsal space, or is material that's recorded on the bus studio stuff that we end up hearing on a 3 Days Grace record?
You know what? Sometimes it is, man. Like I know that some of our old demos we use some of the samples, like the guitars and stuff, but I don't think it ever really makes it. We usually just redo it. But we're pretty good at like finishing songs. So when we get to the studio, there's not that much work to do. We just kind of know what we're doing and get in there and do it.
Well, you guys are always some of the nicest people we deal with every time you guys come through town. We just love 3 Days Grace. The album is called Life Starts Now. Good stuff. Can hardly wait to see you guys tonight in an opening capacity, which has got to be a little bit different for you. So how does this change your live set?
Well, it's the 50 minutes of power, rather than the 95 minutes of, I guess, power. But I mean, it's yeah, no, we just bang it out. We just finished a headlining tour where we were playing those 95 minutes, and so the 50 minutes it's a nice refreshing. It's kind of a drag when the last song's up. You're like, oh man, I want to hit a couple more, but yeah, it's just the dynamic. Jumping back and forth. It's the variety that keeps it cool for us, and yeah, it's awesome. The crowds have been crazy here, and tonight's no exception, I'm sure.
Be a sunburned bunch. I'll tell you what, it's gonna be fun tonight. Pensacola Civic Center, right before Avenged Sevenfold. You'll see these guys. Neil, we want to thank you, Brad. 3 Days Grace here at the Pensacola Civic Center. And here we go with Animal I Have Become. Your chance to freeload your tickets minutes away here on the Rock Station, TK 101.